Okay, so we have a daring story here. I'm here with Bebe Katsenes. Hello, Bebe.
Hello.
So let's start off. Let's talk a little bit about you. What do you do? Where are you coming from? And where are you about to go? It's a big day. Today's a big day.
Today is a really big day. Today is my last day in Phoenix before I move to LA for college. Woohoo! I'll be a freshman at USC doing a BA in theater there. And so,
tell me about the process of applying for schools and all the anxiety and whatnot.
Yeah, that was a rough couple of months. You guys were a huge help. You guys were really involved in the process, but I think I applied to about 11 schools. I auditioned for 7, but basically the standard audition protocol is you choose like 2 or 3 monologues, 2 contemporary, 1 classical, and you'll audition for these auditors who basically determine like the next 4 years of your life, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
So it's really important to choose the right ones and ones you feel connected to, ones that resonate with you and feel that they will not only showcase your abilities but who you are as a person.
So were there any schools you did not get into?
There were, yes.
Name one that was like a big one.
Chapman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
So actually, Chapman's, I think so, they have this screen acting BFA, which that's primarily what I want to do. So I thought, oh, that's perfect for me. And I went to the school, did the tours, did all of that, and I felt like I really belonged there. Went to the audition, was scared out of my mind. But the nerves usually propel me, and so that helped, I know. And then there was this weird improv exercise they did with us where we basically walked around a room and like played this game where we like made our bodies into different objects. Like I was a tree and I was like a kite at one point, so it was very like kind of weird like theater exercises. And I felt good. I left having done the best job I felt that I could have. And prior to that, actually, they do a pre-screen, so I had to send in a video audition. Mm-hmm. And so I made it past the pre-screens, got the in-person audition, and was then waitlisted. So even more torture.
Sure.
And then eventually rejected.
So then, now where are you going?
I will be attending USC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember opening that letter?
Oh my God, that's the funniest story. So I had been waiting all day because I knew that it was going to come out, and I was waiting.
You knew it was coming that day or
yeah.
soon? Or?
And so they are like one of the only colleges left who mails their letters.
Okay.
But they don't just mail a letter; they mail a fat package. Like they go all out.
Either way.
No, the rejection letter's small, and the package. So you open the mailbox and you know.
You know you're in.
But they also like would update the portal at the end of the day if for some reason you didn't get the mail. And so I'm waiting. And I open the mailbox and there's nothing there. And I'm texting my friends. I'm like, nothing came. It's supposed to come today. And then I get a text from a friend. She's like, oh, the rejection letters come later. And I was just, instantly sobbing. And then I like went to get lunch with a friend, and we were both just like really like, because we both had applied to USC, and funny enough, we're actually both going there. But we were both like, we didn't get in. Like this sucks, because she hadn't heard anything. She hadn't been home, but she was like, there's no way I'm getting in. And I'm in this weird mood, and I don't know what to think, and I'm just very emotional, and I get a text, and she's like, guys, I just got in. I just found my package at home. I got in. And she applied to the same major that I did, and instantly in tears, because I'm so happy for her, but I'm also like, oh my gosh, the idea of knowing that she got in, and I also worked so hard, and that we wouldn't be able to be there together, and it was really hard. And so I'm like, calling my mom on the phone, I'm crying. I'm like, I'm so happy for her, but she got in, and I'm gonna be rejected, and I'm so scared. And I had family at my house, and I was like, I can't go in the house. So she comes in the garage, and I see that I've just gotten my email that my portal has been updated, and she's like, just open it so we know it's a rejection. And I open it, and the first thing I see is congratulations, and I just start crying even harder.
Different tears.
Different tears, yeah. But
so now how do you feel now that you know you're going to USC? Is it what's correct?
Oh, I know.
It's the right choice?
Oh, it's so the right choice.
How do you know?
I knew that I wanted a really flexible degree, one where I could pursue a lot of different minors and meet the kids in the film school, but also study like psychology. That was also something I was really interested in. Just as an actor and as a person, I find it so fascinating, and I think it informs my performance. And I knew that I wanted more than just theater classes. I need to be around people from all different backgrounds and interests. And the BA in theater really lends to that, like an interdisciplinary education, basically. So I never looked at conservatories or anything like that. And I was actually talking to a girl who just graduated from Chapman in the Screen BFA program, and she told me, she goes, it really was not what I thought it was going to be when I first came. She said it ended up being like a theater degree with a film minor. Like there was nothing different about the acting training. It was just that you learn more about the history of film instead of the history of theater. And it's so nice that I kind of have that reassurance of knowing like that wasn't my place, even when I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you remember, because I helped you with these auditions for these schools.
Yeah.
Do you remember my reaction to you not getting into Chapman? Remember what I said to you?
You said, I think you said, did you say use it? I think that was one of the things.
No.
Or you were like, that's a shame that they won't be lucky enough.
I said that, but I also said...
You said come to class?
Come to class, and you know what? It's because you weren't supposed to go there. That's what I said.
That's it, that is what you said.
You weren't supposed to go there.
Yeah.
So I know we had this talk earlier, and I'm not going to go deep into this, but what my reaction to that, the difference, my reaction is faith. So I believe we ask for what we want. So if we say, hey, I want to, I want this in my life, and it's a good thing, and I want it to do good with, my life. It goes back to that idea of the just do it, or what's it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to take action. You can't just like, oh, give me a car, and then you just get a car, right? You have to take action, but sometimes how it comes about would surprise you. And so so I always talk about faith this way, where I go, okay, if my son was going to run into the road, would I be willing to yell at him? To stop him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, normally I wouldn't yell at my son, but I would yell at him, right?
Yeah.
Would I knock him over?
Yes.
Sure. Would I care if he got a skinned up knee?
Of course.
I wouldn't care,
yeah.
Right? So the idea is, here's this, this thing. We won't label it for your sake yet, but the Chapman door closed, and your job is to say right away, thank you, instead of letting it rule your emotions. Because what's interesting is without faith, the mailbox determines your emotion for the day, and you're able to go from super negative to super positive.
Yeah.
But it's this outside force that, quote, I don't have control over, right? So instead you realize I actually don't have control over anything other than my effort. I put the effort out there, and then I trust. And that's what really faith is all about, is you go, okay, I'm going to say, I do what I know is right. I do it to my full ability. And then if things are getting in my way, then I go, okay, let's take our play. We just finished a play. It was awesome, by the way. And I remember it was 3 pretty grueling weeks, especially for me doing the directing and all the stuff, and I was neglecting things around here that I normally do. And I remember telling Leanne, I said, well, babe, I just have to have faith that there's a bigger, greater purpose for the play that I don't understand, because I've pushed as far as I can. I've given all the effort I possibly can to it, and I still feel drawn to doing that to its greatest extent. So I'm just going to trust that there's a reason for it, right? And then all these other things are going to work themselves out, And that's the only way I could stop from being depressed and stop from crying or stop from, feeling all these ups and down emotion. But really I can go, okay, I've given my full effort. Now I just sit back and let it all happen for me. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
The door to Chapman was closed for you, and it's a thank you, which changes everything. All right, we're going to jump into what brought you here, speaking of faith. What brought you to Daring Acting Studio? Do you remember your first class, that type of thing?
Yeah, so I actually used to live right around here, and so we saw the building one day, and I was like, oh, I like to act, I do theater, and so I tried a Valleywood camp in, I think, 2013 or 2014. I know I was 13 when I did the camp, though, and I I was a crazed Justin Bieber fan where we all like turned into zombies at the end.
Your character, not
yes.
you.
Yes, of course. No, yeah, and we all, our characters turned into zombies at the end, and it was a blast, and I knew that I wanted to train here and I wanted to be a part of this. And so I took classes, I think, for the next couple of years, and then I think I took a break because I got caught up in doing shows and just in the like community theater, and I got really into musicals, and so that was my focus for a second. And then I would always come back and take some classes over the summer or whenever, and so I kind of would flip-flop back and forth. And then when I was 16, I came back and I was doing the script class, and I actually had a moment where I thought, like, this is after place was renovated, and I remember being in the front room, and I left class, and I was like, do I just not like this anymore? Like, I think I know that I wasn't doing the work. I had like barely memorized. I hadn't met with a scene partner outside of it. Like we all were just kind of doing this because like we had been used to doing theater growing up, and we got the roles, and like our egos were fluffed, and it was fun, and you met people, and you had fun, but you weren't doing any real work. It was all play. But it in that scene class, it became like I really was trying to think, like, do I just not like this anymore? And then I audited Masterclass, and I realized that there's a whole other potential that I had if I put in the work, and if I had the right teachers, and that's when I realized, like, of course this is what I wanted to do. I've always known that. It was just telling myself, like, you got to work harder.
Well, and I have video footage of you in the beginning stages of Masterclass where you were, probably because you were scared, outworking the adults, and I used you as an example.
Yeah.
I call them adults, and you were an adult too, technically, but the idea of, these people are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and here's this 16-year-old, 17, I was 16 at the time, running circles around them as far as the work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not going to be long until she's lapping you people. And that's exactly what happened. I'm very proud of you. That's very cool. So how has your everyday life been impacted since being at the studio?
I think, and acting in general, but the acting training that I've received here has really taught me how to be a more empathetic person, and a person who walks into a room knowing that every person there has their own experiences, and you shouldn't judge them, and you shouldn't make hasty judgments because of one thing that they said. That every person walks in with their own baggage and their own experiences and insecurities, and that you have, like you always say, you have to love them from where they are at. And I've also learned that the type of people I want to surround myself with, and it's people who just are so passionate about what they do and love something, and it doesn't have to be what I love, but it's just the idea that they are working toward a goal and working to be better at something, and always wanting to be better. Because I think people who just become indifferent or complacent, like that doesn't excite me and doesn't fill me up. And I love seeing people get so excited about the things that they do.
Yeah.
It's also okay for them to not know what they like and be figuring that out. But people who are really passionate about things and I love being surrounded by that.
So you mentioned in your answers the idea of your work ethic changed.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk about that, because you came in as a student from Xavier, as an A student, right? It's not like you didn't work hard.
Yeah.
You put in effort, but something flipped in you, something changed, and I'd like you to kind of expand on that.
Well, I think I used to do the bare minimum to get by, and I was decent enough that it could look like I did more work than I did.
In all of life?
Oh, actually no. So academically, like I always did all my homework. I did this. I anticipated deadlines. I would get stuff done.
Wow.
I think just because that's what I had to do. Not all of it I loved. There's a lot of things I really like. I love learning and I like school and that's kind of my jam. But like there were a lot of parts of class that I didn't want to be doing chemistry homework for hours, but I knew that's what I had to do, and I knew that one day I wouldn't have to do it, and so might as well be good at it and put in the work and, you know, close that door, like get it done, you know, and I knew that would save me later on, that I wouldn't have to be, like I'd see my friends cramming for tests or other people freaking out before the final. I knew that I was okay because I just had done the homework and done the learning. So I think that was really just to make it easier for myself later, was that kind of strategy. But the thing that switched in acting specifically was once I learned how to do the work, like the 50 questions and how you build a character and you do the script analysis, I realized that I loved the work, and it's about falling in love with the work. And then not only falling in love with the work, but doing your work and then looking in a mirror and saying, I've done this, but what else can I do? Or what could be different? Or I've done this work, but we actually talk about this in the context of accents. Like I'm gonna speak louder so that I can see the areas where I'm not articulating, so I can then go back and do even more work to fix those spots. And it was the changing mentality of doing the work and then looking at that work and seeing where the holes are to then do more work to fix that work.
So instead of trying to hide the mistakes or the errors or the, you know, what's wrong, it's bringing attention to it so that you can grow and get better.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. That's great. So what about you, because then you transitioned and you ended up getting an internship here this last summer. What happened to you during the internship? And let's talk about from the beginning and maybe part of that process, and then how you rounded out to where you are now.
Yeah, so I initially was interviewed, which is a very mysterious process. I won't go into it, but basically, I was on board. I think like I wanted it, but I didn't quite know what it meant or what it would take to be an intern here and to earn that responsibility. And so when I was asking questions about it, I think I was trying to get the logistics and understand like what this would look like. It's like I was asking all the wrong questions, and I got kind of scared out of it, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just do Valleywood, like I'll help out with the Valleywood because I still want to be around and be involved and I want to learn. And I had really approached it from a perspective of how can I learn and how can I grow and make myself better, instead of how can I serve others and how can I make the studio better and how can I change the people's lives at this studio. And once I did Valleywood, something clicked, and I realized that the energy here is, I mean, I knew the energy here was special, but it really, really felt different. I think being on the other side of understanding how you unleash the potential of the people here and how you get them to be vulnerable and feel safe here. And I honestly think part of it's like therapeutic. These people come in and they walk out with a weight lifted off. Yeah. And that was so special and neat to me, and there's something so enthralling and rewarding about knowing that you had a hand in that. And so it just became, after the first Valleywood, I was like, well, I just want to be here all the time. I want to help in any way that I can. So I just helped out with classes, and I would come in early and I would stay late, and it was really hard in the beginning. It was a lot of mopping and a lot of sweeping, a lot of trash is taken out, a lot of paper towels refilled, and it wasn't, I didn't reap the rewards initially. It was I had to get the experience to earn the lessons and to earn the learning almost.
Yeah. So this is a big learning curve, and it's an interesting thing where you can apply this to your whole life as you grow and mature, because there's always going to be something that would metaphorically be the same thing. So when you come into a space, you come into a corporation or you come into wherever, and use the analogy of what is their dirty toilet and how can I go clean it for them without being asked. And what happens, this is the craziest thing, is it's that thing, whatever it is, the eyesore, the issue, the thing, it's like, hey, we're trying so hard to do these good things, and sometimes something gets neglected. What happens is the person at the top, they're going to go and go, they knew it was a problem and they just didn't get around to it, and they're going, who did that? Who cleaned the toilet? Was that you? No. I think it was that girl, whatever. And all of a sudden, you've created a space, like you got an in into wherever you go. Like imagine you go train at Second City or UCB or anywhere, it doesn't matter. And you just become valuable. You just walk in and go, how can I help? I'll find a way to serve, even if it's, quote, below me. It doesn't matter. I just want to get in and be of service to everybody else. And by doing that, by lifting others up, you end up lifting yourself up eventually.
Yeah.
But
it's a byproduct.
But it's not about that, right?
Yeah.
So the weird thing is the more you give, the more you get. So it's almost selfish to give, but you don't know where you're going to get it from.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll give here, but then you'll get from an unexpected place that you didn't think. You don't get right back from the person you gave to. So that's very cool. I'm so glad. I remember the day that I saw it click for you, and I was like, oh, she gets it. And you know what happened in my mind?
What?
Immediately I talked to these guys and I said, okay, I have to find a way to 10x give back. It's where the necklace came from. It's where all these talks that we've been having, even the talk we had before we started here, my thought process is always, how do I give more than I'm getting? And if I can instill that in you and in everyone else, you're going to have such a wonderful life, because it's more fun to give than it is to get. I'm so happy that you found that.
Thank you.
And it's weird because we already loved you. I already loved you as a person. I love everyone here. I love them where they are. But then deep down inside, I want this for them. Like I want them to get it, because I'm like, when you get it, it's this thing that I can't describe it. You're like, what are the hours? I don't know. What am I gonna have to? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to do it? Well, explain this. I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's gonna click for you. I don't know how that's gonna happen. But when it does, it's like, phew, and you just take off like a rocket. And I watched it happen for you, and I watched you give in certain ways, and then I watched you get poured into in other ways, and that will continue to happen for you over and over and over and over again. And you want to be one of those people who is remembered for that. I know Leanne was on set with Joan Rivers for a Super Bowl commercial before she died, and Joan Rivers was already Joan Rivers. And do you know her story?
I don't, but I of course know who she is.
It's crazy. She should have quit 1 billion times. Told she was too ugly, told you can't do it.
Wow.
She had something going, guy fired her, and she just refused to quit. But it was the whole like, do it, you find a way. And she did. When she was on that set, she was, of course, super famous, getting paid more than everyone else to be on set. She sent a thank you note to every single crew member who was a part of this set.
That's so admirable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that type of love and gratitude, we talk about love around here. If you come from that place, you're already happy. So whatever the result is just becomes like icing on the cake, because it really kind of doesn't even matter.
That's so neat. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love stories like that.
Yeah. Okay. In one word, I love this question. In one word, describe your experience at Deering Acting Studio.
Well, in there, I said fulfilling.
Okay. Still feel that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Until I can find a better word, yes. And that's twofold. One, because of, you just take a look at Masterclass and the classes here, and I'm so artistically fulfilled by the material that we work with, all the plays that I get to read and that I get to put up, and it's so fun to be creative and almost like be a detective in the script, and that's just so artistically fulfilling for me. But then it's the other element of what we were just talking about. It's just the reward, just how filled you are by being of service to other people and seeing them grow and seeing the light bulb happen for them, and it's so cool And it's like, I mean, it's like addicting. I was saying like in the beginning of my internship, it was like, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to class, like going to help out, going to TA, going to sweep and mop and you know, run camera. And then it became and now I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could be here for class tonight. Like,
yeah.
I wish I had more time.
I remember you finishing one of your longer shifts and you were tired. And what's funny is there wasn't because you were like, what are the hours? I'm like, there aren't hours.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There just aren't. And you figured it out. And once you figured it out, you came as early as you were allowed to.
Yeah.
And then stayed as long as you were allowed to. But this is a crazy story about Bebe. So you were tired before one of the classes. You'd already been here maybe 8-10 hours. And then you came up to me right before the adult class, I remember, and you were like, I have more energy. What's going on?
I was like, I'm invigorated.
And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's called the spirit is living inside you. And then that class ended, and you somehow had more energy. And I remember you working on your monologue for like 20 minutes before you left. And I thought, oh man, she's going to crush. Because I didn't figure that out till I was 35. And you're what, 17?
18.
18.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Cool. Well, you have helped a lot of people, I can tell you, being here. And since you started interning, there are kids who have been moved and changed. There are teenagers who have been moved and changed. There are adult students here who have been inspired by your work ethic and have either wanted to partner with you or just like aspired to work to that level. And I have been changed forever because of having you here, and getting to be a part of your journey has, you know, changed me significantly.
Thank you. And right back at you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a different person since being here. It's insane. It's crazy.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with everybody about the studio, or if someone's thinking about acting, just any advice you might give? Just these are sort of your last words, if you have any.
I know what I wrote down there, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else besides that I really want to share. Know that it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. There's going to be a lot of times where you don't want to do it, where you're scared. I used to have moments where I would just be scared to run the monologue at home for fear of finding the places that didn't make sense in the monologue, and for fear of realizing that I didn't know how to do this, or I didn't know why this line was there, or I didn't know how to say that this way, or I didn't know who the character was. And it's like that's what you have to do, because then you have to look at those and tell yourself, I have all the tools. I might not know exactly what to do, but I can figure this out. And it's so hard, and it's like staring at your own insecurities, and it's terrifying, but it's the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. I mean, we've talked about this. It's like the best drug in the world, acting.
Yeah.
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 And it doesn't have consequences. It's
other than good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So and you kind of hit it on the head there, because where we're really going is we are leaning into what happened to you in the internship, doing that more and exponentially so in the classroom and online. And it's so much more important to me that you're changed as a person, because that's forever, than if you land a job or get into a school.
Yeah.
I really could care less, because I know it's going to work out for you if you change in here. You know, if you figure this out, that stuff becomes easy. If you just get that and you didn't earn it, there's a chance that you're happy for 3 minutes, and then you go, okay, but now I don't have the skills to back it up. I don't have the work ethic to back it up. I don't have the mindset to back it up. And then you're one of those, you know, people that, you know, get celebrity quickly and then crash and burn or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very, very excited for where you're going. And I don't, you know, this is goodbye for short term. And we'll
see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Yes. So. All right, well, we love you, and thank you for the interview. I'm going to hug you. This is a hug type interview. I don't think we're on camera anymore, but...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Love you.